Hello, hello, hello. So my name is Aisha Serda, and this is my scriptural analysis presentation project. I'm going to be checking in with my video monitoring device every so often, so I might disappear off the screen to make sure it's still there. So I chose the Surah 18 in the Quran, which is right here. This is the Arabic version because the only version of the Quran that is considered to be the real version of the Quran is in Arabic, which, as you can see, this whole Quran is in Arabic. And I also provided a copy of an English version for your reference because there are multiple versions that have been translated throughout the course of many years by scholars so that people can understand what the interpretation means. But as far as the Quran, it is only considered to be the official version if it is in Arabic. So this one is only a smaller version. A lot of them are huge, but this is a compact version that I found at the San Diego County Library, and it is very ornate. You can see the details that are on it. It's in Arabic, so I just wanted to reference that. And then, as you can see, I used this crescent moon. This is actually one of the symbols of Islam. So around a lot of the mosque, you can see this symbol, whether it's on the top, just like similar to a cross for churches. You'll notice this in any type of version or modification. So I chose the cave, and the cave is a story about how the group of people that are young people seeking refuge enter into this cave because there is a significant amount of people being persecuted during that time. It doesn't reference what time, but in English it's called the cave. In Arabic it's called Al-Kahf. So I'm going to write that right under here. Same thing, just a different language. So the main story is that God is speaking to the prophet. Now, there's many prophets, but the main one in Islam is Prophet Muhammad. So it's reference to Prophet Muhammad because there is multiple references to the prophet. And what God says is that they are warning of the disbelievers and what they are going to experience if they are not believing in God, and that they are promised a lot of reward in different interpretations. There's not really a explanation of what the reward is, but these young people, and what's interesting is that young people, there's different ways that it's referenced in the Sutta, and the Sutta, I actually listed it here, but if you wanted to know for future reference, there's a total of 110 verses. I selected 10, it was supposed to be 5, but I selected the first 5 and added the extra 5 because it gave a little bit more context to the story. So it starts the story and then it kind of lingers off into the interpretation of is it a real cave or is it an allegorical cave similar to Plato's cave. So throughout history and through our religion, there are multiple stories of people that are seeking refuge in the cave. And I also found it interesting and selected the cave as the topic because the Dead Sea Scrolls were also found in 12 caves. So maybe there's a connection, I'm not sure exactly, but it was pretty interesting to read after all of that information. So mainly the story about referencing the young people seeking refuge was that there was no specific age mentioned in young, and there's been many different scholars who state, such as Dr. Yunus Jibril Hassan. He is one of the authors of an academic journal that I provided. He actually said that there was no specific age mentioned, but also that there could be different categories according to multiple scholars of what young is. So it could be under 40, pretty much at 40 you're mature, under 13, under 18, puberty. So it's open for interpretation at that point on what is actually young. who's young, who's not young, but it did mention that they were companions or fellows. So they did have a connection to one another and they knew each other. So as a group, they went into this cave and they were afraid of being killed. And they did not want to be killed, whether it was for a religious purpose or whether there was just a conflict, severe conflict going on. And so my guess from multiple readings of different texts is that this relates to the exile of the Babylonian times. It doesn't say that, but my reference to that is because there was a lot of exiles going on during that time. The Babylonian exile actually contributed significantly to many religious sectors, and it was stated many times in different articles, different references, different time frames on people who were seeking refuge because of the exile in Egypt. So this references, I'm going to guesstimate right before the exodus of Egypt. So somewhere in between the exile and the exodus of Egypt is where this would take place, under my guess. It's solid in stone, of course. It's all open to discuss. However, it's important, and this is one of the most significant stories within the Quran because it shows what happens to people who believe and the punishments for people that do not believe, and also that God offers a reward in terms of what will happen if you do believe in God and what will happen if you don't believe in God, and that people who do not believe in God or say that the revelations are not true are actually liars or naysayers. So don't believe them. So this was my project, and I hope that you enjoyed watching. I hope that it helped explain from my perspective, and I hope that you would like to review my presentation. So I learned a lot during this project. I know it's a little bit over 5 minutes, but I did want to show that there's an extensive amount of information that has to be incorporated within these verses, and it's not very lengthy in terms of how long it is or how the words are standing out versus one another, but it was interesting that the prophet was being spoken to. This was a revelation that was revealed to Muhammad, and so during these 23 years of Muhammad getting the revelations, it shows a significant standpoint in the message from God to Muhammad, to the followers, and then it's up to the followers to whether they believe or whether not, but these are the underlying revelations that were provided to Muhammad. And so it was very important for the Islamic religion. It's actually a Suda. It's never been altered. It's just been rewritten over time. So when they did mass produce the Quran, this verse is actually under the Suda 18. So you can review that and let me know what you think.